Alright, hello fourth graders. Today we are going to focus on comparing and ordering fractions. Now I'm going to start with showing how to use our fraction pieces to compare or essentially put in order. So let's say I'm trying to compare or see which one's bigger. So I want to see what's bigger, 1/2 or 2/3. And when we compare, we use the symbols less than, greater than, or equal to. So the way that we can use our fraction pieces, and I think the fraction bars are the easiest because you can line them up and you can see exactly which one's greater. So I'm going to line them up. I'm going to shade in 1/2, then I'm going to shade in 2/3. When I look at that, I can see, looking at this picture, I can see 2/3 is greater than 1/2, so I need to have the greater sign pointing towards the 2/3, or I know you learned that the alligator wants to eat the bigger fraction. Same thing. So let's look at a different fraction. Let's see if 3/5 or 6/10 is greater. So I'm going to break mine into fifths. I'm going to break my second bar into tenths using my same symbols. Okay, I'm going to shade in 3/5. I'm going to shade in 6/10. Oh, these I can see they are equal. They're equivalent fractions. And that might have been one that you didn't have to draw out. Let's look at one more using our area or using our pictures. And this is something you can always draw out or on the test in this unit that you do get to use this fraction at. So let's take a peek at one that students often think are equivalent. 5/6 and 4/5. Often students tell me, nope, they're equivalent. They both need one piece to be a whole. Let's see if that's true. So I have my fifths and now I need my sixth. Okay, I'm going to color in 4/5. I'm going to color in 5/6. And I see they're close to being equivalent, but when I look at my picture, I can see that 5/6 is just a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is one way to compare fractions. Now, I'm going to show you another way if you don't have fraction pieces to represent with. So what you can do, so let's say I have the fraction, let's look at another one that students often think are equivalent. 3/4 and 2/3. Now, we did the picture. Now I'm going to show you how to do it so you can get the same denominator. I'm going to look at my denominator on both of them. I'm just going to multiply them by each other. So I'm going to multiply this. So what I'm doing is making an equivalent fraction. And I'm going to multiply this one by 4 because I want them to get the same denominator. Again, I'm not changing the value. I'm just making a equivalent fraction. So on the top here I get 9/12, and on the bottom here I get 8/12. Well, now that they have the same denominator, I can just look at the numerator and say which one's greater. 9 is greater than 8, so I can do 3/4 is greater than 2/3. Let's look at one more example like this. Let's say I have the fraction 1/2 or 7/10. Again, I want to make them so they have the same denominator. And when I look at the number 2 and 10, I can just multiply them by each other to get the denominator of 20. So I'm going to multiply this one by 10. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. And same on the bottom, but I want to get the denominator of 20, so I have to multiply by 2. Now when I look, they have the same denominator. So I can see that 14 is greater than 10, so I would say 7/10 is greater than 1/2. This is a strategy we're going to look at some more in class tomorrow. We're also going to look at putting fractions in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to give you 2 different examples to look at tonight in class, and then we're going to look at them in class tomorrow. So when I write these 2 examples out, I want you to think about what do they have in common, or what rules am I going to try to figure out in class tomorrow. So the first ones I want you to put in order from least to greatest are those. And then the second one I want you to put in order from least to greatest are those. Now again, looking at those, think about what number 1, all those fractions have in common, and number 2, what all of those fractions have in common. And we will be actually doing this together in class tomorrow. So the first thing we covered was comparing fractions, and the second thing that we will be doing is putting fractions in order. I look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow. Come prepared to discuss these problems, please.